Nick Fleming James is asking, teachers that are high risk because of underlying medical issues, do they still report on campus?
So, very good question. In light of Governor Bryan's announcement today, the Department of Education made the decision to have all non-essential school-based personnel to work from home. And that's very important for a number of reasons to include Governor Bryan's update. So all teachers and principals, counselors, they will all report for the opening of the school year from home. When it's time, we're going to do a gradual phase, and we will let principals know when it's time for them to return physically to the campus after we receive the health guidance and Governor Bryan's new update at that time. And then the same will be true for teachers, counselors, and other support staff.
Okay. So we have another submitted question. All of the training slots are full with
will be available.
Yeah, will be available. And the training slots, are you familiar with what they're?
Yes, Superintendent Jurgen mentioned.
Okay.
So we put our training schedule out on Tuesday, and within an hour, the slots were filled. And so we are offering more sessions, and that information is going to be updated so that, yes, we are offering more training sessions, and I think it just speaks volumes about our teachers that they are eager to participate in the trainings that we offer from the Department of Education.
So we have an interesting question. Thank you for that, Superintendent. From Yamina Frazier, and she's asking, what are the allowances for power outages and connectivity issues? Obviously, WAPA is a real concern with the frequent power outages, and so she's asking, will there be some, will the department be amenable to those issues with respect
well,
to
we've taken the reality of some factors into consideration. Some factors we don't control, and so as a part of the school today, there's made students to be working offline, and so we'll just instantly switch to those sessions, and students will be still required to work, but offline when the power goes.
And also in terms of some connectivity issues, that soft opening when the first 2 weeks of school, parents will be able to see whether or not they have the bandwidth necessary to carry out the devices. If there's some issues, we work it out within a 2 week. If they need additional Wi-Fi, for example, that would happen. So in terms of connectivity issues, it happens to all of us. Right. So we got to really be real flexible and understanding because those things do happen.
And a key thing to that, from a parent's perspective, when it comes to a child taking an assessment, for example, if the power goes, during an online assessment, the expectation, of course, is that that child gets the opportunity to log back in and continue that assessment once the power is restored.
Okay. There is another question. When will the training schedule be sent out in the St. Croix district? And that question comes from Ashley Phillip.
It should actually be released maybe this evening. The training actually, we began our training in the St. Croix district on August 10th, this past Monday, with the training for the school nurses. And then 2 days later, we had training for the custodial workers. We had training for the monitors today, as well as the maintenance staff yesterday. And the instructional training for teachers, paraprofessionals, and administrators actually begins on Monday the 17th. Will run straight up until the first week in September. And that training will be released by Cynthia Graham, I believe, this evening.
Okay. We have a question here from Angelina Rinaldi, and she's asking, how will vocational classes be conducted?
There's a plan for our CTEC, and part of the CTEC is hands-on, but part of it is also having to get into the textbook and do that part of it as well. So there's an online portion that was students will do as far as the CTEC program is concerned. Again, we continue to look at what's happening in terms of the coronavirus, continue to have the communication with the Department of Health. And, if we can, in fact, gradually as we go along, bring in some students to do the hands-on, that's something that we'll be looking at.
Would probably fall more within the hybrid model.
Exactly, exactly. And you know what, Richard, too? It's a very good question because, we all learn differently, we all process differently. And for our CTE students, the theory will definitely be done, the theory teachings of the content. But the great thing with the technology is our CTE students would not necessarily be placed at a disadvantage because we do have platforms such as YouTube, and we're encouraging our CTE. That's just one example. There's so many more. We're encouraging our CTE students, teachers to capitalize on the free resources that are out there as well. You can absolutely find any demonstration on anything on YouTube, and not only that, but we're encouraging them to be creative and innovative and come up with their own creations and their own inventions on whatever their specific career pathway is.
Okay. For the Commissioner. Isabel Lorenzo is asking, will the Department of Education give out textbooks for students, or will textbooks be online?
So, yes, the district answered yes.
Okay.
That's one of the interesting things about Schoology. The textbook resources will be available online, but they also will be housed in Schoology.
Yes, and they have access to their physical textbooks as well.
Okay. Thank you for that. A. Marie Gums is asking if the efforts to control the spread of COVID-19 within the territory are not successful and learning remains virtual, is the department prepared to handle the influx of students that may transfer from private schools?
And that's something we will, we've already been faced with this reality. We've had a number of parents before when we were at the they indicated to us was because the private school that their child was attending was going 100% virtual under other conditions that they were not pleased with. And transform our educational product. You can see that we're in the midst of this transformation. We're excited about it, and we will continue with your support to make sure that the educational experience for your child, our students, is enriched and exciting.
And just add to that, Richard, we welcome them all. There's nothing better than public school education.
So Renata Christian West is asking, is there any flexibility in terms of the daily schedule to accommodate parents of the younger children like pre-K, K5, who may not be able to physically sit with their children during the live instruction? Will sessions be recorded and available in the evenings?
So some of the sessions will be synchronous, which means they will be recorded.
Okay.
And so students will utilize those at various times, but some will also require, that they're in sync with the teacher being right in front of them in the live sessions.
So Richard, to add to what Jürgen said, it's live lessons. The child will have to be participating in the live lesson. There's no going around that. What needs to happen for those parents that will have those challenges
village.
they have to come, this is the village, right? This is where the village have to raise the child and contribute. So again, everyone had to participate in this process.
Thank you for that. Kaisha Watley is asking, what is the plan for teachers or staff that have children in the education system and they have to work once the stay-at-home order is lifted?
Well, if the stay-at-home order is lifted, we will allow our teachers to bring their children into school, and they will work on their sessions in the teacher's classroom.
Okay. Okay. All right, we are waiting for a couple more questions here. Do we have any submitted questions that we can draw from while we wait for some more questions in the feed? All right. I'm sorry, what's that question?
Special ed teachers.
Will special ed teachers, can you see that question?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's a little hard to read with
Special
the red.
education teachers,
We'll be given an opportunity to work with
Oh, yes.
special education.
Oh, yeah, okay. I think you guys answered that
I
question earlier.
spoke about that earlier.
Yeah.
And that's also true of our service providers. As the Commissioner mentioned, our speech therapists, our occupational therapists will set appointments with the students and those services.
And I think this question was also answered earlier. Will kindergarteners get laptops or iPads?
All students will get the
Chromebooks,
That's
right.
what it is.
Shanika Farrell is asking, why can't the smaller kids be given packets of worksheets to turn in at the end of each week, I guess, instead of the virtual accommodation?
Yes, our goal again is to make sure that our students receive the proper education according to their age and grade level. And our youngest learners, we definitely want it in our schools because they learn best through social and interactive play, which is the very same reason we do not want them in the schools. We cannot have them in the schools of COVID-19. And with respect to the packets, that is something we discussed, something we talked and discussed not just among ourselves, but with other teachers as well. We do poll our teachers and the Department of Health, and the decision was made not to engage in distributing papers. A lot of our teachers did not feel safe, having papers being distributed. So we decided not to engage in the distribution of papers and transferring of papers.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Next, it's actually interesting because one of the questions that was submitted actually just popped up on a feed, and that is, will the teachers and support staff be provided with laptops and Wi-Fi devices?
Great question, yes. Our teachers will, all teachers have laptops in the schools, and they, similarly to parents coming and retrieving the laptops and Wi-Fis from the department, the teachers will be allowed to take their laptops at home. And what we've done was we reserved and requested additional Wi-Fis for those teachers who indicate that they need. And again, thank you to our teachers. We're still in the midst of polling our teachers for their technology needs, but many of them already indicated to the department that they have they have laptops and they only need internet, or they have both. So we're the same process we use with our parents and students, we'll do the same, and we'll be able to provide our teachers those Wi-Fi devices.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Newell Sapphire Paul is asking, is there a way to control the texting on Microsoft Teams by locking it off at a certain time each evening?
The texting?
Yes. So I guess the text feature on
the chat?
the chat feature on Microsoft Teams.
Is that a teacher? He's striking as a teacher, and maybe the students
I'm not sure,
texted
but
during the
either
lesson.
a teacher or a parent.
But actually, that's part of the transformation. Our students today are digital learners, and that's a key part of how they learn. That's how they interact on social media. That's how they interact in the use of technology before it's physical interaction, you know, just talking and speaking to someone face to face. But I don't know if it can lock. We'll have to ask our IT crew.
That's
But-
a good question for the training.
Yeah, but it's a good way to, we have to allow our students to grow socially, and that is socializing online. So I'm not sure if I would discourage that one.
Okay. There is a question from Cara Provost Morel. I think this question was answered, but will the paraprofessionals receive laptops and MiFi as well as the teachers? I think
Yes.
spoke to support staff.
Yes,
they
so
would-
that is our goal as well.
Okay.
And that's because our paraprofessionals really have an instructional role to assist teachers and students.
Well, time flies when you're having fun. So we are nearing the end of our scheduled program this evening, and so I would like to take this opportunity to go around the horn and allow you all to give your closing remarks. And I'd start with Superintendent McGregor, if you have any closing remarks.
Sure, thank you, Richard. To cooperate. We need all hands on deck. This is not the time for Monday morning quarterbacking. This is now the time for hours and hours of work. They've been doing the research and studying and going back to the drawing board, and it's been a lot of sleepless nights just working, and we really appreciate our support staff that we have in both the superintendent's offices, and we want the community to appreciate the work that they do as well. So thank you, Mr. Richard.
Thank you for coming. Dr. Yergin?
Richard, I definitely want to thank you for having us here. We are in a period of transition, and on the other side of this is going to be really beneficial to all of us in the Virgin Islands. And I just can't, the outpouring of support that we receive from all the hardworking members of the Department of Education is just overwhelming, and that's helping us get through this. The fact that so many teachers signed up for the training in the middle of education speaks volumes of our hardworking, dedicated teachers. I want to thank my coordinators. I want to thank those individuals at the Curriculum Center that stay into the night just to make sure that we get all of the kinks worked out of this. And so I just want to thank everyone in the Virgin Islands community for your support, and our children are going to be successful, and our children are going to come out on top because of the hard work and dedication of all of the employees of the Department of Education and overall the Virgin Islands community.
Thank you, Dr. Yergin. Commissioner Barry Benjamin.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, superintendents, for being my right hand, left hand, every hand. You're truly an awesome support. And Virgin Islands community, we truly are transforming at the VI Department of Education. And whether we wanted to or not, this is where we are. As I mentioned before, these are uncertain times, but opportune times. And the Virgin Islands Department of Education is taking advantage of this moment. As challenging as it is, we know that we can get through this together. I want to personally thank you, community, for sticking with the VI Department of Education. It means a lot, and our students will benefit from your support. I want to personally thank Governor Bryan and Lieutenant Governor Roach for their continued support of the VI Department of Education, and their praises when we share with them the support from our employees and their reaction and just overwhelming support. I want to thank them. Remember to wash your hands, follow the social distancing guidelines, and be true to our students. Virgin Islands children, we love you. Thank you, Virgin Islands community.
Thank you, Commissioner Barry Benjamin. And before we close, I first want to thank you all for taking the time out of your schedule to visit to the public and provide this information and to take the time to answer the questions that the general public has. This has been episode 22 of the Press Box. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and especially thanking you for your questions, your comments, your feedback. This is an exercise that we take a lot of pride in, to be able to come before you and answer your questions. And so I thank you for your time. Thank you for taking your time out this evening to tune in, and stay locked in for next Thursday's episode of the Press Box, 5:30, episode 23. Thank you. Stay safe, stay sanitized. God bless the Virgin Islands.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Together, we are